Hey everyone, imagine waking up to an extra $670 in your bank account. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, that's exactly what millions of Americans might be looking at with the proposed Social Security boost. But before you get too excited, let's dive into what's really happening and what this means for you and your loved ones. This isn't just another government announcement, this is about real money in real people's pockets. Picture this: 70 million Americans, many of whom have worked their entire lives, are now watching closely as this new bill makes its way through Congress. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the timing couldn't be more crucial. With inflation still biting and prices at the grocery store making everyone do a double take, this potential increase could be a game changer for millions of families. You know, I was talking to my neighbor Martha just yesterday. She's 72 and has been on Social Security for 7 years now. When I mentioned this possible increase, her eyes lit up. She told me how every extra dollar matters when you're living on a fixed income, and she's not alone. From retired teachers to former factory workers, millions of Americans are in the same boat. Now, let's cut through all the noise and political jargon and get to what really matters. This proposed $670 annual increase isn't just a random number pulled out of thin air. It's part of a larger initiative that's been gaining momentum, and it's directly tied to the current economic climate we're all experiencing. But here's where things get interesting, and why you need to pay attention. The bill, which has been making headlines recently, isn't just about throwing more money at the problem. It's actually a comprehensive approach to addressing some long-standing issues with our Social Security system. And yes, while Trump's name is attached to it, the reality is a bit more complex than what you might be seeing in the headlines. Let me break this down for you in real terms. That $670 annual increase would mean approximately $55.83 extra per month for eligible recipients. Now, I know what you're thinking: is that really enough? Well, let's put this in perspective. For someone already receiving the average Social Security benefit of about $1,827 per month, this represents a meaningful increase that could cover a month's worth of utilities or several trips to the grocery store. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. This proposed increase isn't happening in isolation. It's part of a broader discussion about the future of Social Security and how we can ensure its sustainability for future generations. The program, which has been a cornerstone of American retirement security since 1935, is facing some serious challenges. Think about this: by 2034, the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to be depleted if no changes are made. That doesn't mean the program will collapse entirely, but it does mean benefits could be reduced by about 20% across the board. This new bill is attempting to address some of these long-term concerns while providing immediate relief to current beneficiaries. What makes this particular proposal different is its approach to funding. Unlike previous attempts to increase benefits, this bill includes provisions for securing additional revenue streams to support the increase. This isn't just about writing bigger checks, it's about ensuring the system can sustain these payments over the long haul. Let's talk about who would be affected by this change. We're not just talking about retirees here. Social Security benefits reach a surprisingly diverse group of Americans. There are disabled workers who depend on these benefits, children who receive survivor's benefits after losing a parent, and spouses who qualify based on their partner's work history. Each of these groups would see their benefits increase under the proposed changes. Here's something that might surprise you: nearly 40% of elderly Americans would fall into poverty without their Social Security benefits. This program isn't just a nice extra, it's literally keeping millions of our neighbors, friends, and family members above the poverty line. When we talk about a $670 increase, we're talking about real impact on real lives. The political landscape around this bill is fascinating, and it's important to understand the context. While it's being associated with Trump, the reality is that support for Social Security enhancement crosses party lines. Recent polls show that over 80% of Americans, regardless of political affiliation, support protecting and strengthening Social Security. But let's get practical for a moment. If you're one of the 70 million Americans who receive Social Security benefits, you're probably wondering what you need to do to get this increase. The good news is that if the bill passes, the increase would be automatic. You wouldn't need to fill out any additional paperwork or make any special requests. However, there's a catch, and this is important. The bill hasn't passed yet. It's still making its way through the legislative process. And like any major legislation, it's subject to modifications and amendments. This is where public awareness and engagement become crucial. The more people understand what's at stake, the more likely they are to make their voices heard in the political process. Let's talk about timing. If the bill passes in its current form, the increases would likely be implemented in 2025. This timeline allows for the necessary administrative adjustments and ensures that the funding mechanisms can be properly put in place. It's not an immediate fix, but it's designed to be a sustainable, long-term solution. One aspect that's not getting enough attention is how this increase would interact with other benefits and programs. For example, some seniors receive both Social Security and Supplemental Security Income, SSI. Others might be concerned about how an increase in their Social Security benefits could affect their eligibility for other assistance programs. These are important considerations that need to be part of the conversation. The impact on different age groups is also worth examining. While current retirees would see immediate benefits from the increase, younger workers who are paying into the system would also be affected. The bill includes provisions for ensuring the long-term stability of the program, which is crucial for maintaining public confidence in Social Security. Let's talk about the economic ripple effects. When Social Security recipients receive more money, they tend to spend it in their local communities. This means more business for local shops, restaurants, and service providers. It's a form of economic stimulus that directly benefits Main Street America. Economists estimate that every dollar of Social Security benefits generates about $2 in economic output. The bill also addresses some technical aspects of how benefits are calculated. The current system uses something called the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, CPIW, to determine cost of living adjustments. Some argue that this doesn't accurately reflect the spending patterns of seniors, who typically spend more on healthcare and housing than younger workers. Speaking of healthcare, this brings us to another important point. Medical expenses are often the biggest concern for Social Security recipients. While Medicare covers many healthcare costs, the out-of-pocket expenses can still be substantial. This proposed increase could help seniors better manage these essential expenses. Let's look at some real-world examples of how this increase could help people. Take a couple who both receive Social Security benefits. They could see their household income increase by over $1,300 annually. For many seniors living on fixed incomes, this could mean the difference between having to choose between medications and groceries or being able to afford both. The impact on disabled beneficiaries is particularly significant. Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, recipients often face additional expenses related to their conditions. An extra $670 per year could help cover medical supplies, transportation to doctor's appointments, or other necessary expenses that aren't covered by insurance. There's also an important gender aspect to consider. Women typically receive lower Social Security benefits than men, largely due to lower lifetime earnings and more time spent out of the workforce caring for family members. Any increase in benefits can help address this disparity, even if only partially. The regional impact of this increase would vary. In areas with a lower cost of living, $670 might stretch further than in major metropolitan areas. However, the increase would be particularly meaningful in rural areas, where Social Security benefits often make up a larger portion of local economic activity. Let's address some common misconceptions about this proposal. First, it's not a handout, it's an adjustment to benefits that people have earned through years of paying into the system. Second, it's not going to solve all the challenges facing Social Security, but it's a step toward ensuring the program better serves its beneficiaries. The funding mechanism for this increase is crucial to understand. The bill proposes several changes to how Social Security is funded, including adjustments to the payroll tax cap. Currently, earnings above $160,200, as of 2023, aren't subject to Social Security taxes. Modifying this cap could help generate the revenue needed to support the increase. The role of inflation in all of this can't be overlooked. While $670 might sound like a significant increase, it's important to consider it in the context of rising prices. The goal isn't just to provide more money, it's to help maintain the purchasing power of Social Security benefits in the face of increasing costs. Another important aspect is how this proposal fits into the broader discussion about retirement security in America. With traditional pension plans becoming increasingly rare and many Americans struggling to save enough for retirement, Social Security's role as a foundation of retirement income is more important than ever. The administrative challenges of implementing such an increase shouldn't be underestimated. The Social Security Administration would need to update its systems, adjust its processes, and ensure that the increases are properly calculated and distributed to millions of beneficiaries. This is part of why the implementation timeline extends into 2025. Let's talk about the international perspective for a moment. Compared to other developed nations, the United States Social Security benefits are relatively modest. This increase would help bring our system more in line with those of other countries, though we'd still lag behind many European nations in terms of benefit generosity. The impact on younger generations is a crucial part of this discussion. While they might not benefit directly from the immediate increase, the bill's provisions for strengthening Social Security's long-term financial stability could help ensure that the program remains viable when they reach retirement age. There's also an important discussion to be had about the role of Social Security in reducing elderly poverty. The program has been remarkably successful in this regard, but there's still room for improvement. This increase could help further reduce poverty rates among older Americans. The political dynamics surrounding this bill are complex. While it has bipartisan support in principle, the details of how to fund and implement the increase are subject to debate. This is where public understanding and engagement become crucial. The more people know about what's at stake, the better equipped they are to participate in the discussion. Looking ahead, this increase could set an important precedent for how we approach Social Security adjustments in the future. It could establish a framework for more regular reviews and updates to ensure that benefits keep pace with the real costs faced by recipients. The timing of this proposal is particularly significant given the economic challenges many Americans are facing. With inflation affecting everything from food prices to housing costs, any increase in benefits could provide welcome relief to millions of households. The implementation process would require careful coordination between various government agencies. The Social Security Administration would need to work closely with the Treasury Department and other entities to ensure smooth execution of the increases. Let's not forget about the psychological impact of this potential increase. For many seniors, knowing that their benefits will increase can provide peace of mind and help reduce anxiety about making ends meet. This sense of security is valuable in itself. As we wrap up this discussion, it's important to emphasize that while this proposed increase is significant, it's just one part of a larger conversation about retirement security in America. The challenges facing Social Security require ongoing attention and thoughtful solutions. So what can you do right now? Stay informed about the progress of this bill, understand how it might affect you or your loved ones, and make your voice heard if you have opinions about how it should be implemented. Remember, Social Security isn't just a government program, it's a fundamental part of the American social contract. I hope this detailed explanation has helped you understand what this proposed $670 increase really means and how it could affect the 70 million Americans who rely on Social Security. As always, I'll keep you updated on any significant developments with this legislation. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this information with anyone who might benefit from knowing about these potential changes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.